My eyes. Look into my eyes.
Yes, Madam Daisy.
So what Daisy is doing there, okay, is that she's giving you a massage, Chris.
Oh, do that again, please.
Virtual massage.
Gilbert, join in
massage.
massage. Okay,
Chris.
here you go.
Oh, you're
Oh, it feels so good.
Yeah.
I tell you, the CB thing is driving us all nuts, right? Okay.
Yes.
And it just seems to me that all of a sudden I am the correspondent for these sort of news.
Yes,
Vice
prime
correspondent.
Well,
Prime
thanks.
side.
Yeah. I don't know why. Is it the face or what? You know?
Weren't you undercover? No.
Well, undercover what? You mean on the cop side or the other side? Neither.
Both sides.
Do
Okay.
not be fooled by this cheeky-looking face, but never mind. Now, there have been a spate of raids by the cops, and these raids were for vice-related activities, and they actually arrested 30 women, and along with them, there were 19 men. And these raids were conducted in HDB flats, condos even, massage parlors, that's expected, and even a hotel. So
Right.
they were each fined $300 because they left their residences
Yeah.
to go to these places for a non-essential activity. I don't know why it's okay. Never mind, essential or not.
They
That's
probably-
subject. It's relative. Okay, never mind.
Yes, they
but
probably
it is.
felt it was very essential. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did. You know, and amongst the men, these 19 guys that were arrested, there was an 85-year-old dude who was also caught. I mean, first of all, I give the
For
man.
you, uncle.
Yeah, full marks at 85, and he still thinks that this is essential.
Yes.
Yes.
And I really give it to the
Aging well.
dude. Oh, hell
Aging
yeah.
well. Aging
Yes.
well.
Yeah, you got to find out his secret, yeah. But he got caught, and he got fined, you know, and God knows what else is going to happen because nothing else is reported about that. But with
Was
that,
he at least wearing a mask?
I don't know. Can you? I mean, to get yourself involved in this sort of non-essential activity that's essential to them, does he need to cover up?
I think
Look,
you can't do this thing,
Chris.
but you can wear PPE, right? You know.
Look, Chris,
Oh gosh,
you're talking about
You
this.
can't breathe, you know, when you're doing or whatever. Okay.
All right, Chris. I want to just say
Strenuous
something. You talked
Yes.
about this 85-year-old man and how much you admire what he's doing, right? That he's 85. I just want to let you know something that it's especially for people of that age. I need to talk on behalf of those people who are in the 80s and what it means to people who are older. These
Yep.
months of CB. It's like,
Ah.
oh my God, every day passing is you're losing a part of your life.
Yeah.
Every day is, you know, taking away your travels or being with your loved ones or you can't do things that you want to do. And you might be actually thinking, will I get another chance? Will there be another tomorrow? What am I doing locked up in the house? Man, I need to be out there and get what I want. And so, hey, you know, for them, it's life is so precious, especially at that. And if that was on his bucket list, going for that excursion was on his bucket list, it was worth the fine of social distancing or no social distancing.
At 85, I want his damn bucket.
Before it's on his bucket list, he completed it. Well done. That's all.
I mean, we have to ask this guy. You know, can get him on the show and not producers. I mean, you get this guy on the show. You just need to ask him, have you been taking the blue pill? Because if not, we want to shake your hand, man.
Maybe not shaking the hand, but yeah, high five. You know.
Okay, I mean, virtually shaking hands. You know, virtually,
Done. Virtual.
Yes, virtual.
Everything is virtual, just like our massage.
But I mean, it does highlight something though that I think hadn't crossed my mind at all until this news popped up, right? That there is another industry, right, and another group of workers who have been kind of, I don't know, not talked about and forgotten about, right? Because we do have legal sex workers in Singapore, right, providing a service, you know, and are they being looked after at a time like this? I assume they can't work, right, and they can't work from home definitely. So yeah, who's helping them? They've got families to feed as well.
You know, John, you
Right.
bring up a very, very, very important topic as you bring up the sex workers. Because you see, in Singapore, I think they are even maybe more marginalized and discriminated against than maybe even the migrant workers. That's because when you use the word sex worker, it's also a deep moral judgment that you're making, when you use the word sex worker. Now, I had a chance, an opportunity to talk to Vanessa Ho, who is actually leading this NGO called Project X. And they are primarily the people who are working to aid these sex workers. So there are three types, like you correctly said. They are put into three areas: the Singaporean sex workers, the migrant sex workers who are here on official passes, and the foreign workers who come on tourist visas or whatever. Now, what is ironical is that, they closed the bars, they closed the cafes. Of course, there was a lot of loss of income for the workers. Having said that, the migrant workers, the Singaporeans and the migrant workers, they can claim relief from the government. But the challenge is that they don't have any invoices to show loss of income. How are they going to prove that this was my income and now it's gone down by 30%? Please give me relief. That's one of the very, very important challenges that they have. For the migrant workers, a lot of them hopefully managed to go back before the CB was announced. But there are those who are caught in the net who can't leave because there are no flights, and they have to be taken care of.
I'm curious. I'm curious, Daisy. Are we certain that migrant workers could actually be legal?
No, in the sense,
plowing the strait legally? Is that allowed for?
You see, what happens is whether they are calling themselves sex workers, or whether you're in a salon, or whether you're, in a bar, or the point is that the bars are closed. And if there was any income that you got from other areas, how are you going to be able to show it? And I think very critical is that with all these donations that have been coming across, they are the ones that fall through the net. Because again, it's connected, when I'm giving, it's connected to a moral conscience. And there is a judgment being made that, oh, really? Do I need to give sex workers my donation? Having said that, just like you talked about the migrant workers, each one of them is doing this for their families. Now, if you'll bear with me, guys, I just want to read a message sent by Vanessa. I was so happy because we want to reach out to this group that is being marginalized or discriminated. We do our bit for everybody. We don't discriminate about who we want to give to. So she says, I think I want listeners to know that beyond all the moralizing about sex workers, one thing is true, that all of this they do to support their families. We are running an emergency safety net program and already have 30 applicants so far. One thing that ties everyone together is that they earn not for themselves, but for their parents, their grandparents, their children. And when they lose their income, all these people go hungry. And that's why we started our program to alleviate some of their stresses. So if you want to donate, please go to our website, http://theprojectx.org. Please donate. So their project is, I'm just putting this in because we are talking about all this giving and,
Well, I suppose for society to be able to rise to challenge, because as you said, I think this is prevalent in almost all societies, that sex workers are sort of looked upon with a certain amount of, lack of a better term, forgive me, disdain. Yeah.
But Chris, sorry to interrupt, but I just need to tell you, because you mentioned other countries, that places like Canada, if you read about it, you realize that the government itself is in a dilemma, is in a quandary, because there's this very thin line about what is legitimate, what is not, what is legal for prostitution, what is not. Now, how does a government set about a policy where they're actually giving aid or helping those who are doing this illegally?
I
Oh,
don't
you know what I'm
think.
trying to say.
Yeah, I
Gilbert,
know.
you know what I'm trying
I think it's going to be a bit far-fetched for any government to try to help those who are doing it
Correct.
illegally, because they're illegally
Yes.
here
Correct,
to begin
correct.
with, or doing an activity that's completely illegal.
Right.
But let's talk about the legal ones, because I do believe there is a sort of a tracking system for people in the sex trade that's doing it legally.
Yeah.
Right. Like for,
Because they're all
instance.
here.
Yeah, they
They're
have
all
to go
here,
for
they're
HIV
attached.
and STD tests every month or every
Yes,
week or something like
They're
that. I'm pretty
regularly
sure.
checked.
Yeah,
They
they're
have
very regularly
passes. They
checked.
are all registered. Yeah.
So there's a
so
sort of
they are
a role of
legitimate
them
workers.
already.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there is actually a possibility of taking care of them like you take care of any other industry.
But
Because they
but for
have
charity.
foremen and bosses and all that they report to.
But for example, quote unquote, for again, lack of a better term, forgive me, charity towards the legal sex workers. Let's begin with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like I was saying just now, that I suppose society has got to change its perception, and our own inner values have got to be risen in order for us to accept people of all sorts and from all walks of life, and those who need help. You know, for communities to step forward to say, we forgot about them, they fell through the net, as you said. Let's do something about this. You know, and I think this is, you're right, Daisy. We should never, everyone's human, right?
Yeah.
But how is that going to happen? You know, society must see a real big shining light for us to go.
Okay, Chris,
help them
all right.
out.
Let's separate the two, okay? On the one hand, you got the big societal issue, whether society will accept these people enough for governments to be able to do something and all that. I'm less interested in that, because that one you can wait a long time. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I know.
All demoralizing.
Yeah.
What's more important is how do we help these people right now, and you know, in practical ways. And again, I would like to say that it shouldn't always be government, because sometimes governments are constrained. Those people who are compassionate and kind want to help these can go to an organization like Project X. Yeah. And if you feel like, okay, I don't want to give money to them, maybe you can donate canned goods or food for them to be able to give to their kids, you know. You know, this is an issue that if you actually study it, no woman really, or man for that matter, because in other countries there are male prostitutes as well, does this because they want to, really. They do it because they have to, you know, a lot of cases. And they're already in a difficult position. How much more so in a time like this, when you know, the economy is in a tailspin, and people are in other occupations are having difficulty. How much more so for these people? So there are ways that people can help, and by reaching out to them now. The bigger issue, I think, is going to be a while before, you know. It's been around for it's the oldest occupation in the world, and
Sure. That's the reason why I'm saying that, you know, we already have Project X, and if Project X has reached out to Daisy, you know, as well, right? Obviously, they're not getting enough support. So community has got to see things from a perspective that, you know, these people are. Yeah, you're right, Gilbert. They didn't get into this profession because they wanted to. Yeah. They got into it because they had to. Right? So what I'm saying here is that let people realize that, look, come on, look beyond your own self-righteousness or righteousness, which however you want to see it, or your own values, and look at the deeper value and the meaning that everyone's human and everyone have their own challenges. So if we can help, we just reach out and help.
You know,
without having any blinkers around us.
Yeah, but I think you will have that one group there, the moralist, who will never. Okay. Yeah. So I'm not even talking about them. I think that there are other people out there who are more neutral about this issue, and may not be aware, have not even thought. Like I myself never thought, you know, okay,
exactly. You know,
this is a group that's now having difficulty. So maybe I would speak to that group out there. You know, for this group over here who's totally no way in hell, you know, fire and brimstone. Okay, fine. You know, you don't have to. You can shut off this segment. But to the other people out there who are more neutral about this and who may not be aware that there is a group out there that needs help, and these are the sex workers in Singapore.
Okay, so let's do this. We have this platform now, right? So I'm going to look right into the camera, and I'm going to say this, coming from all of us. I think I can speak for every one of my friends here. All viewers and listeners, if you are listening and watching the show, Okay? There are sex workers out there that really have nothing. And there is a group called Project X. So let's find in our hearts to try and see what we can do about this quietly, no problem. So
Right.
go find out about Project X
Okay.
and let's
That's
help people
great.
out.
Thank you so much. But I also want to end on a bit of a happier note where sex workers are concerned. It's a bit, because I was just reading that sociologists are saying that because of this lockdown, there is a lot of pent-up sexual energy, which is going to be released once the lockdown is over. So, hey, there is, again, every dark cloud has got that silver lining. So if you hang in there, there might be a bonanza by the end of it.
Shut up, lah!